Okay, so I wanted to pop in here. I'm going to ask everybody to make this drawing. It's my drawing. It's something I just came up with. One of the drawings was make a coffee cup, or I decided to make a coffee cup. I don't know where, but I drew it today, and there were lots of little quirky things about it that I think are going to help as a good way to teach some of the topics that we haven't gotten to yet. So I'm going to ask everybody to draw this. I'm sorry, we're trying to zoom in here. And we'll talk about it as we go. So you're going to draw this and hand this in separately. Maybe we'll have you make it ISO 14. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, we're just going to draw it. So we're going to start out by going and making a part file. Like I said, it's going to cover a couple of topics that we haven't gotten to yet. One is the revolve command, and it's also going to show you some different ways about how to go about making this drawing. So start new sketch, and I want this to be my front view. So I'm going to choose the XZ plane as my plane. And, oh, actually, undo that. Sorry, check that. So just start over. Hit cancel here. Go to File, New. Standard IPT. I lied. We're going to do it a different way. We're going to go Start 2D Sketch, and we're going to choose the XY plane. And we're going to use the Revolve command in order to make this. So in order to use the Revolve command, you need an axis. So let's put this right from the center point. Okay? And make that axis close to the height. Like, it should be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to dimension it. In general, you should be trying to do that anyway. Make your first drawing so it doesn't get so askew. So the drawing is 4 inches high. Let's just make this line 5 inches, okay? So then we can zoom out and we know that we're drawing things relatively the right size. So then I'm going to go and I'm going to draw an outline of what the object would look like. Sorry, so I'm going to go here and there and down here, and you can see it kind of curves under. And then it's going to come all the way to the axis, and then it's going to come back, and it's going to go up, and it's going to go here, and it's going to go there. Okay, something like that. So then we'll go through and we'll dimension it. So let's go dimension. And we'll dimension this is 3.6, which our guesstimate dimension worked pretty well there. Let's go from this line to this line. And this is 4. So that's good. And then we got to dimension the thickness of all of this. So let's go from here to here. And that should be 0.119. 0.119. Hit enter. We got to get that thickness right all the way around. So let's come down here and do the same thing. 0.119. Hit enter. Here to here. Same deal. 0.119. Awesome. I have all that. Then I need to go from the exterior of the cup to the center point. It should be, let's see, it's a radius of 1.6250. So let's go from here to there, pull that up, 1.6250, hit enter. And now we have the general layout for our coffee cup. We can hit finish sketch, finish 2D sketch, and now we can hit revolve. So revolve is like extrude, but a little bit different. First thing we have to do is we have to choose our profile, which it's not going to like, which makes me think we must have a hole in this someplace. So it's not going to let us select our object, so hit cancel. Let's try to figure out where our hole is. Oh, when we deleted that line, that came off. So go back in here, edit sketch. Choose the line command. Go from here to there. And something went awry with our overall height. No, we're good. Okay, so then, did I go in the right spot? I did not go in the right spot. Click that off. Line from here. Oh, we never made this. When we made this one never got longer was the problem. So let's just delete this line. I don't know, we'll draw over the top of it, I guess. So click in there. So now we'll try again. Finish 2D sketch. Revolve. Select my object. Then I got to go and choose axis. Select my axis. And what it's going to do is it's going to revolve that shape I made around that axis. Okay. Say okay. So now I have to put my handle on. A lot of different ways you could go about it. I'm going to hit my front view. And then I'm going to hit F6 to put it in isometric view. I'm going to go and I need to put a work plane on here. So go to work plane. And I think we haven't talked about how to put a work plane on a circle yet. So I have my work plane. If I click on here, my work plane, it doesn't really do anything. I have to choose a zone. So I'm going to hit escape, go to plane, and in the origin, I'm going to hit this arrow. I can hold my mouse over the YZ, the XZ, the YZ, and choose the plane that I want. I want the YZ. And what the YZ is going to allow me to do is it hasn't put that in yet. It's not going to put it in until I click it in place. I can put it over here. I can put it there. I want to put it on the inside of my cup. And I'll explain why in a minute. Because I want my handle to go into the cup. Okay? So now there's my plane. It's on the YZ. Sorry, wrong button. And I'm going to go and I'm going to put a sketch plane on. Start 2D sketch. Throw that on. Okay, great. Now I'm going to draw my rectangle. And I'm going to extrude it straight back from my cup. So I'm going to have it go down this center axis so that I make sure that I'm balanced. But when I click my rectangle in place, I can't see it. And the reason I can't see it is because the hangover material is blocking the thing that I just drew on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, and I can't remember if it's here or not. Well, actually, I'm going to expand this out full screen because that's where it is. I think. Project geometry. Sorry, maybe not. Just found it a minute ago. Let me click on my work plane, and then I'm looking for slice graphics. And I had it. And I don't see it this second. Was it up here? Project geometry. No. It might have been because I was in a command. Slice graphics. There she is. F7. So what that does is it takes away that extra material. It's still there, but it hides it from you so that you can see what you need to see. All right, so let's flip over here and go back to my object. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw half of my handle, mirror it over, then extrude it out. All right, so let's dimension. We'll go back to our regular size here so you can see what we're working on. So you can see the drawing and what we're working on. So let's dimension the overall height. So this is going to be 2.25. Say OK. Then we're going to go and we're going to make it, the thickness is 0.25. So we're going to dimension it and it's going to be 0.125. Okay. And then I'm going to end up having to move this whole thing. So let's do it now. It doesn't give me an up and down dimension. When I made the cup, I didn't really worry too much about it. So let's just move it up some. All right. So let's go and we'll choose the move command. We'll choose our whole object here. We'll choose a base point on this center line, and I'm going to eyeball it, right? I think that's up a halfway-ish, right? So if I was making it, I actually had the cup, I would measure this, I would put it in the right spot, but for now, we're not too worried about it. So say done. We're going to go to mirror now, another tool that we haven't used yet. So go to mirror, select my entire object, choose a mirror line, so I'm going to choose there. Then I'm going to say apply, then done. Then I'm going to click these midpoints out of here, and we should be good. So now, finish 2D sketch. It brings my graphics back. I can say extrude. It knows what I'm talking about. I didn't have to choose my object. And again, if I look back at my drawing, you can see I have an extrusion depth of 1.75. So let's type in 1.75. Enter. The problem with my 1.75, though, is my 1.75 comes from the outside of the cup. Right? And we just drew an extrusion from the inside of the cup. So that 1.75 actually isn't accurate. So let's go back and edit our sketch. Actually, let's edit our extrusion. And I'll show you a cool little thing you can do with Inventor. So edit feature, we went 1.75. How about if we do this? 1.75 plus 0.1190, because that's the thickness, right? And say, okay. Now I definitely have I'm out as far as I'm supposed to be. Okay. So then let's put another sketch plane down, and we'll extrude a hole through this. We'll extrude a rectangle to get the shape of our cup, of our handle. So let's go. We'll put a rectangle on here. We'll do it like this, and I'll make my point afterwards. Let's go constrain, and here to here. Oops. Sorry, dimension. Here to there. 0.25 is the thickness of our handle. 0.25. 0.25. And then the tricky part here is if I set this to 0, so it's on the edge, because you can do that. You can make a dimension of 0. So I'm going to dimension it to the work plane and go 0. And the problem with that is, and I'll show you. I'll just finish it. Let's go finish 2D sketch. Let's go extrude. Let's choose cut. We'll say through all. And say OK. If you notice, when I do that, it takes a big chunk out of my... I'm gonna get rid of this work plane, hide the visibility of it. I hope. visibility, right? It takes a big chunk out of my cup. I don't want that. So let's go back in, edit sketch, and instead of making this 0, let's hit F6 here. Instead of making this 0, hit the front view. Let's delete this 0 off. Find that line, drag it out here again. And let's make it 0 between here and this outside edge. But it may or may not. Let's see if it grabs it or not for us. Let's go dimension, constrain, here to there. It did. 0, enter. Finish sketch. And now it goes through, and it doesn't take that object. It doesn't take that chunk out of it. It does take a chunk here. We could play with this to make this a different situation, but that's, I think, decent enough. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a fillet on the end of our handle. Again, the radius of that fillet isn't on here. So let's go to fillet, modify, fillet. And I've got to find one that's going to work. So let's just try my 1.25. We'll click it on that corner. That's too small. So let's bump it up, 0.25. Not bad. Let's go a little bigger, 0.35. And I like that. I think that works. Click apply. Now let's take that 0.35 and put it in all these other places also. Here, here, there. Click apply. Say cancel. And now I think we're good, right? We have our coffee cup. We have our handle. Everything looks exactly like it should. Let's do one more thing. Let's put a fillet on around the outside, right? You usually wouldn't see a coffee cup rounded on the inside and hard on the outside. So let's put this back to 0.125 and see if we like that. Let's put it on the inside edge of our cup. And I think that looks like a little bit too much. Let's put 0.05. Click apply. I think that makes more sense. All right, and that looks good. Okay? So when you're done, if you have any questions, obviously come up and ask. But you'll have to hand that coffee cup in a separate file. So, all right, if you have any questions, come up and ask. Otherwise, good luck. Go to work.